What up, folks? Doing a little drive time on my way home from work. And I just want to put my thoughts out there for a second on a couple of things. If you hear air in the background, it's because I'm driving home, so just bear with it. I'll try to speak up. Gotta love our black queens. Just gotta love them. No, I'm in law enforcement. I won't say what department or any of that shit. It's not important. But I responded to a runaway call yesterday. Little 14-year-old boy climbed out the window of his upstairs bedroom window, jumped off the roof onto the driveway and took off because his mama was going to discipline him for fighting with his younger brother. I'm like, okay. So I do what I do, take my little report and all that. About an hour later, he comes back home. Okay, no problem. Go back, do what I do. This is not a procedural video, so I'm not getting into the details of it. I see this boy, and he's 6'1", about 135 pounds. Looks like he's a pretty smart kid. Looks like he could be a good kid, but he just needs a father figure in his life. Stop me if that sounds familiar. Because the woman, she's got I think she had 4 kids, all boys. And I know there was more than one father in the picture. So I'm talking with him, making sure he's all right. And I asked, what kind of grades is he making? What, B's and C's? And she said, nah, C's and D's. Which struck me as odd because she had also mentioned that he plays on the, I guess, junior varsity basketball team at his school. I'm like, how is he playing with C's and D's? And she said, well, the school lets him play. And I'm like, why are you letting him play? No, I'm not that old, but I remember the way things was back in the day. And I see this all the time when I respond to stuff. You got kids making D's and F's and they're playing on their PlayStation or their Xbox. And I'm like, assuming that we had that stuff back in the day, which we didn't, C's and D's don't play PlayStation. C's and D's don't play Wii. C's and D's does not stand for Call to Duty. C's and D's don't have flat screen TVs connected to a satellite in their room. C's and D's don't have laptops. C's and D's don't have cell phones. The hell is wrong with y'all? A lot of times, more often than not, it's the mama. Sometimes you have a daddy in the house, but he's either stepdaddy or you look at the dynamic and you can tell who wears the pants in the house. Mama just constantly giving him everything. He fucks up in school. She gets him mad in 2016. He's smoking dope. She buys him Air Max or the new Jordans. I tried to give my baby everything. Show you how much he appreciates it, right? We just caught this joke of spray painting gang signs on the wall. Not my baby. You're right. And it's the same damn story over and over and over again. But getting back to this lady with her kids, said he's making C's and D's. You should take that PlayStation away from him. And she was saying, well, I work third shift, so nobody is home. And she had an older son who was 19, so I'm like, okay. Say, well, you just don't let him play. Well, then what about the other kids? They're not gonna have nothing to play. And I'm like, so? You have your 19-year-old son tell him he better not be caught playing the video game. And what this woman said, what I'm about to tell you, if I was sitting down, I'd have jumped up in my seat. She said, well, that's the problem. I got all boys. I wish I had a daughter because I know she'd tell everything. And I was like, you know what? You just confirmed something I've been suspecting for more than a minute. A lot of these modern black women raise these little daughters to be their little eyes and ears. They're little informants. You know, and they play multiple roles. The dynamic that I've seen is like when a black woman gives birth to a child, particularly a little girl, and I don't know if you noticed this, it seems when I see black women with young children, I'm seeing more and more of them with girls as opposed to boys. I kind of have my own theories about that, but that's for another time. But if it's the traditional circa 2013 single black mother relationship with her daughter, the daughter will first at birth be a doll. Then from the time she starts walking and talking a little bit, she'll be almost like a little toy. Then when she gets older, starts getting into grade school, she'll be mama's little protege. Then as she approaches puberty and starts getting a little bit into puberty, she might be a friend. And throughout this time, if she's got siblings, primarily, and this gets really juicy if the siblings are male, she becomes the second in command. And that's with younger siblings. She's the second in command with the younger siblings, and she's the informer for any older siblings. But she gets puberty, she becomes a little friend, and depending as she approaches adulthood and reaches the early stages of adulthood, depending on how attractive she is, sad to say, there are times when she becomes mama's rival. Think I'm lying? How many times have you looked on the local news in your city and you've seen and heard about situations where mama and daughter were fighting over some nigga? Usually this happens in the hood, but I'm sure it happens in the suburbs as well. You know, mama's 38, daughter is 19, and they getting into it over some 23-year-old crumb cake nigga. You've seen it, you've heard it. But I think the woman thought I wasn't gonna catch what she said, but it was like, no, you just proved a theory I've been having for a minute. And when you see that dynamic in action, you can say with certainty, yep, it's the truth. See, I think that's the problem a lot of modern black women and their little legions of simps. Legion of simps, it sounds like a Super Friends villain. Like the Legion of Doom, but even worse. Hey, think about it. The head of both are bald men. Lex Luthor for the Legion of Doom, Steve Harvey for the Legion of Simps. But I digress. But I think that's why a lot of the